guys, Run Pure Sports members have been on fire recently as we've had a ton of six-figure screenshots flooding our premium Discord. And the winning wasn't limited to one sport, as our members have access to premium content across all sports for one low price. We kick things off with Hebrew Cheetah, who took home $19K in NBA. Also in NBA, C. Lion shipped $100K. In the PGA streets, C. Jacobs 986 won $100K, while Club Camp Cole and Birdie Monster each took home over $200K. The biggest winner of all was an NBA hit, with the man shipping a monster $1 million in Draftkings Millie Maker contest. Our members weren't the only ones crushing the leaderboard. Our very own JSU won over $100K in MLB, while Big T had another monster performance, shipping for $146K in PGA. With NBA playoffs, MLB, and PGA going strong, now is a great time to subscribe to Run Pure Sports. Head on over to our website and check out all of our affordable subscription options, and use code RPSHeaters25 for 25% off your first payment on a monthly subscription. And don't sleep on our free content offerings as well. PGA Millie winner Record 62 has been producing regular PGA articles on our website to help you build winning lineups. And subscribe to our YouTube channel today to sign up for alerts to our daily free live streams. Our best team has been on fire as well, with our guy Keg dominating the live NASCAR betting, pulling in over 22 units per race in 3 of the past 5 races. There's no better way to build your bankroll than betting with Keg and Coop on the live KegCast. Check it out today for just $40 a month. Thanks again, guys. Make sure you head on over to Run Pure Sports and find out why our members are crushing in every sport by accessing our free and premium content.
What's up, everyone? Tyler Tamboline here, aka Toe Tag and Tambo. And we're back Wednesday, special edition Run Pure Sports Show for PGA RBC Heritage this week. Got my boys Big T and Uncle T with me, couple of knee houses. So we're going to get into it. Tony's at the special spot. I'll bring him in first. Big T, how's it going this evening?
It is going good. A little bit of a layover, or a little bit of a hangover, I should say, after the Masters. We all love the Masters, all three of us. Wasn't like an incredible week or anything, but you just look forward to it for so long, and then you come back this week, and we got another good event, though, a bunch of big names. It's just hard to bounce back after the Masters and, like, get excited for the following week. I can't imagine being the players, too. Like, some of the bigger names, we can talk about it as we get into it, but there's got to be a little bit of a hangover for some of the bigger guys. I mean, the smaller guys, I'm sure, are excited to get right back to the grind, try to get another W, but there's got to be a little bit for, like, the DJs and the like bigger people when we get to them. There's got to be a little bit of a hangover. If we got a little hangover, they got to have at least a little bit of one. So I don't know. I'm excited to get back into it, though. We got more golf. We got basketball playoffs, baseball, bunch of other stuff at Run Pure as always. So super excited to keep the grind going.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's really tough. Like you said, too, us sitting at home on the couch telling these guys they suck down the stretch and can't make putts. And now we got to get back into it, but they actually got to play. So I hear where you're coming from. Do us a favor, guys, on the way in. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Get all the free shows. Of course, everything that we're doing, we're going to have NBA, MLB, everything else going on. Mangone is doing a new show every day in the morning, 11 a.m. Eastern time. So hit up the subscribe button. Be available. Set the notifications for all those free shows. And yeah, we'll talk about all the guys. We're going to get into the course, the tiers, the breakdown, the strategy. We always go back and forth. If you guys haven't watched this before, Big T and I, we settled the score last week. He flipped my good bet on me and ended up taking all the Tambo giblets. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. Before we go there, Uncle T, how's that internet doing, buddy? You good?
Hey, right now I think we're in good shape. Apologize last week. I geared up for that last week and didn't work out for us. But we move on. Quick recap of my last week. Brooks Koepka just was really hurtful for Uncle T. It's getting to the point where I really like him as a golfer, but he's really been hurtful, and especially Jordan Spieth. I'm just kind of crossing them two off for a while. And yeah, it was a rough week for me on the Masters slate, but 2 of the weeks, Friday and Sunday, did really good on the Showdown, was able to get some money back. So obviously, as we talk through this show, we obviously always mention our Showdown content, which has been crushing the last several weeks. So, but no, you guys talked about it. This tournament, when I first looked at the pricing and looked at the field on Monday, I was shocked at how loaded it is up top. I fully expected this to be a watered down field, and we've got a good event, guys. We've got obviously good prize pools, prizes, a lot of money to give out from DraftKings and from FanDuel. I think there's a couple spots on FanDuel this week. I don't play a ton on FanDuel, but I think there's a couple spots on FanDuel where some guys are mispriced, and we'll talk about them as we go. But no, looking forward to breaking this one down with you guys.
Yeah, the field strength is very good here. We'll talk about the guys in a minute. Just another thought that I had, but yeah, I don't use this. Everyone shits on the official world golf rankings all the time. The one spot I won't shit on it, because at least it keeps it apples to apples, is strength of field. If everything's, ranked the same way, at least when we get these fields, we can recognize which ones are stronger than others. And this ranks out pretty high. It's up there, one of the top 3, I think, this year, non-majors, non-players type of thing, WGC shortened events. It was up there with the Waste Management Phoenix Open and then the Farmers Insurance Open, which you'll remember was a Luke List over Willie Z in the playoffs. So it's a really strong field. And then Big T, just going back to you for a second, back to your point. Look, they probably do have a little bit of a hangover. I want to ask you about that, what your thoughts are just coming off the Masters as we get into that upper tier, but we'll do that after. My other question would be what about the motivation factor? They're just watching Scottie, your boy, out there ship everything every single week. And we were talking last week, if Scottie ships it, and I know you were on him, you won 33 racks. You can talk about that if you want. But, if Scottie wins it, he's basically Tiger Woods. And what he did is go out and ship it. And I think it was the only person 5 other times to win 4 events, including a major and a WGC in the same year, was Tiger Woods 5 other times back in the day. So hell of a run for Scottie, but you got to think guys like Morikawa, JT, getting tired of seeing it. JT was, basically Ricky Fowler, congratulating and high-fiving Scottie as he comes off to pick up the jacket before he goes in. So what were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, man. I even said it on the show. I've been on Scottie the whole time. I didn't know if he could win it last week, though. And honestly, he came out and kind of admitted it. He said he was crying Sunday morning. He didn't know if he was ready. I believe him, too. He just seems like a really good dude that, honestly, it hit him quick, and he might, not be ready for the off the course stuff. On the course, he's the man. He's fine there, but I don't know if he likes the fame. I mean, they showed that video, him going to Chipotle, his order. He's just a normal dude, a good dude. He's married to his high school sweetheart. I just think he's a good dude. And honestly, I don't know if he was ready. His golf game is just so good that it didn't matter. He had the big chip in, too, when the lead was crumbling a little bit. That kind of got him going again, and Cam pissed down his leg. So I don't know. Scheffler's the man. I don't know if he's still the top guy long term. I don't know. We talk about who the top guy is so much that it's usually just the guy that's been playing the best for a couple months. And honestly, though, what else matters? We're playing DFS. It's a week-to-week thing. For us, all that matters is who's playing the best, is how it should be. Long-term form doesn't matter as much as it does in other forms of gambling and different stuff on the golf course. So he's the man right now. When you win 4 out of 6 weeks and all big events, including the Masters, it's tough for anyone to debate that you should be number 1 right now.
Yeah, like you said, maybe it's like you said, he's not ready for the other stuff. I don't see Scott. He's going to get all these endorsements beyond what he already has. I don't see him like a commercial dude or anything like that. It's just such a regular good dude going out just doing his thing, and he can't help it that he's just that good at golf and that he's just a winner. We say it all the time, RPS, winners win. That's what Scotty's been doing. Uncle T, final thoughts.
There's no way he's 25, by the way, either. This dude does not look 25 years. He looks like he's 45. No.
My wife said the same thing. She couldn't believe it. She's like, there's no way how old is he? 25. It makes no sense. She thought he was 35, 36, something like that. I told her, no, this guy's a kid.
On the flip side, guys, his wife does not look 45. I will say that. So.
She looks 25. Definitely.
Married up for sure. Uncle T, talk to us about the course for this week then. Any final thoughts that you think can transition over? If not, we'll talk about those when we get to the players, because a lot of the guys did come over from the Masters. It's kind of down the street, at the same time, they're ready for it. There was only one withdrawal was, of a big name answer. And then today, for those that didn't know, Sebastian Munoz at $7,300 on DraftKings. He left. We'll see if we get Matthias Schwab in the field. Sometimes DraftKings mixes him in at the last minute. I'd be interested if he came in, but that would be something I'd be interested in, Big T. But Uncle T, give us the course breakdown for this course. A lot of people know it, but break it down for everybody.
Yeah, I had a little bit of interest in Sebastian Munoz too, and then I saw that. So we'll talk about that here in about 45 minutes when we get to that.
I'm glad you guys
but,
told me too, because I'm obviously not paying attention. I just started talking about him like the one week when I was talking about the dude that withdrew. So I'm glad you let me know.
Yeah, got to keep everybody in line here. Go ahead, Uncle T.
Yeah. And again, after I get done talking about the course setup, we'll get right into the top guys as far as motivation and stuff like that, to hit your point there, Tambo, a moment ago. But yeah, most people know this course, but it's the RBC Heritage at Harbor Town, obviously in Hilton Head. Par 71 this week, about 7,100 plus yards. Pete Dye track, as most people know. Tree line course, right? A lot of water as well on the course. 135 golfers, I guess now 134 maybe now with Munoz withdrawing. So again, a good solid field considering, coming off the major. We do have 5 of the top 10 golfers in the world teeing it up. So I think that's, again, a very strong field. But as far as the course itself, you won't need to necessarily have distance off the tee this week as far as a big motivating thing for you. Distance and power don't mean as much at this course. Players will be clubbing down quite a bit, and we'll get into Dustin Johnson here in a moment, but we'll get into that argument and discussing how he didn't use driver very much last week at the Masters, and people were maybe not wanting to go to him this week. Well, he didn't really go, with the driver last week. So I'm kind of on Dustin, but we'll get to that in a moment. Again, the players can club down. This has one of the lowest average distance numbers on tour. So again, to the point, the guys are clubbing down. Iron play into these small greens. I think this is the second smallest greens on tour next to Pebble Beach, which is really saying something because Pebble Beach, the greens are very difficult, obviously. But if you're to miss the green this week, obviously we want guys that can get up and down around the greens. Water, again, will be in play all over the course. And then lastly, there's 3 par 5s that obviously in most weeks, you're going to want to get and attack these par 5s. There's 3 of them this week. There is one drivable par 4. I think it's the 8th or 9th. No, it's the 9th hole. So it'll be interesting to see how they play that hole where they can make a move, maybe a couple eagles if they can drive that green. Strokes gained approach and strokes gained around the greens are going to be the 2 big things this week to get somebody to come away with this title.
Yeah, agree for sure. Like you said, first off, the small greens, you mentioned it, but then at your last points are why that around the green to me is just even more important, because you've got those 3 par 5s plus the drivable par 4 that they're going to be right up there anyway. And when they miss those greens, it's going to be, what can they do from there? Now, mind you, this isn't Augusta National when it comes to the talent level you need around the green. I think, it's important to be able to get up and down, but it's really important in the end to make those 5 to 10 footers, because they're going to chip it up tight enough. And then can they make the 5 to 10 footers? And then interesting point you made with like the clubbing down. I think that's, a conversation when we get to DJ. Wasn't pulling the driver out last week. Spieth, some of the guys like JT Spieth, where their issue is usually spraying it a bit off the tee. Even a Cam Smith, they can kind of get away with that here. Big T, anything else to add? If not, let's jump into it. We've got Cantlay right up to Justin Thomas, and you can migrate your thoughts over to them.
Yeah, I mean, just more of the same what you guys said. I don't have anything that sticks out, but just hop in the top range. I mean, I am going to play a little bit of a layover with some of these guys, whether that's right or wrong. Again, we talk about it. You can't play all the guys up top. I'm going to use that. I think guys like JT, man, he played with Tiger all last week in the practice. He came on strong on the weekend. I just can't come back with him at 11-1. I'm sure he's the best play in the field as far as talent, but man, there's got to be at least a little bit of a layover for a guy like him. So I'm not going to play him. I'm not going to play DJ either. Just similar thing. And the last 4 years, he didn't really excel in this field. Is it like a home game or something for him? I was reading about something like
basically
that.
It's nearby. I think it's an hour and a half away. They usually treat it a little bit like a vacation, but maybe he just wants to be, most would say the opposite, but yeah, he's been with Paulina a long time. So maybe sometimes just wants to be away for the weekend, because he always makes the cut. It's just he comes through and gets a 29th or a 26th or something. Yeah. The one Sunday he was in contention 2 years ago, I believe he shot a 77. So, never really came through on the results chart.
Yeah. So, I mean, more of the same. I mean, you got to take stands, and I'm just going to use that narrative this week for these top guys, especially Cantlay looked terrible to me last week. He made a little bit of a push midway through the Friday, I think he was playing pretty decent. I can't remember right now, but he made a little push and then just totally faded into the weekend. I think he finished like 40th or something last week, but not going to play him over these guys. So then it comes down to Cam Smith or Morikawa. Man, Cam Smith, it has to be a little bit in his head from last week. He just crumbled down the stretch. And, yeah, he was awesome. He still finished third. He's still been playing great. He's the second best player this year to Scottie. I mean, he's been basically just as good as Scottie, honestly, except for crumbling on Sunday. But, man, I'm going to go with this layover strategy this week. And Morikawa is going to be my guy up top, and that's a rarity for me. So, Snyder, take the pants down or whatever you got to do if you're watching this. I mean, I'm sure you're excited. I'm on your boy Morikawa with you, but I just think 7th last year, 5th last week, him and Rory were just full blown, I mean, hugging and just loving each other. And honestly, I just liked what I saw. I'm high on Rory too whenever the next time he plays it. So I'm going to ride Morikawa at the top. And honestly, I feel really good about it too. He's the only guy up top that I like. So it's one of those weeks where it's pretty clear to me. He's my guy.
Oh, wow. Small noodle season to start it off this week. All right. Snyder's pumped. He's in the chat. Let's go.
Is he in there? I don't have the chat up for once. Are you excited, Snyder?
In there too. We got a bunch of people in there. Guys,
let's go, Snyder.
Button. Yeah, let's go. Okay. Uncle T, I want to flip it over to you because just two things. One, I hear where Big T's coming from.
Hold on a second. Tambo, before you go to Uncle T, Snyder just peeled me. I had to buy out of I got to give him his props. People say I don't take an L. I had to buy out of the Bryson Morikawa bet for $500. I had to give him just to buy out because I can't just keep losing. The dude's injured. He's not trying. Morikawa shoots 63 every Sunday to just punish me. I had to buy out. So, Snyder, you officially got the W. I paid you. I'm out. Now it's down to Uncle T trying to figure out what he's going to do against Morikawa.
You should have just paid. You should have just saved that bet. Well, because now it was announced today, Bryson's getting a surgery. You could have put him on medical leave.
I could have waited it. I know, but I was tired of just paying him every single week.
Yeah, might as well just get it over with now. What I was going to say there, Uncle T, just around strategy. I've heard a few people this week. I guess, Big T, you were talking about too. You only really like one guy up here, but I doubt you're going to lock in Morikawa.
Yeah,
so that means you're going to have plenty of lineups with no 5-figure guy.
I'm not even going like crazy heavy either, just to clear that up. Yeah, I mean, I'll have way above the field, but I'm not going to go like 80%. At least I don't think I am at this point.
Yeah, I think it's a good strategy. I'm going to talk about it more when it comes back around to me. Before I go to Uncle T, guys, 160 watching, pushing 200, not quite fit, just over 50 likes. Let's get to 100 likes quick. Move it from there. Uncle T, this top range, small noodle season for you too, or who else do you got up top here?
Yeah, similar thoughts as Big T, but maybe a difference or two. I do agree with JT up top, 11-1. He's clearly probably 11-1 because he's Justin Thomas, not necessarily because of winning golf tournaments. I can't remember the last golf tournament he's won. So I'm definitely going to fade him this week at 11-1. Cam Smith, I watched the interview earlier today with Cam Smith. And while he said all the right things and, about last week and the disappointment, and they did tee up a couple questions about this week, you could see it on his face that he was just a little bit deflated still. So I'm going to go on the narrative with him that, again, not only do you get the elevated price tag now, the highest it's been with him ever, probably 10-8, even though it's in a field that's, it's a good field, but up top, he's around guys that I just can't pay 10-8 coming off the disappointment. I do have a small disagreement with Big. I do like Dustin Johnson quite a bit here. I know that what you guys mentioned is right. He's played here and he's finished anywhere from 13th to 28th the last 4 years. He was in contention in 2019. I think it was Stuart Sink, wasn't it? Who tracked him down that day? Or was it CT Pan? It might have been CT Pan.
It was CT
that tracked him down, which is kind of odd. I don't know if he necessarily tracked him down. Obviously, DJ shot 77. It took him out, but I just think DJ last week, even though he didn't put 4 full rounds together to really get in contention at the Masters, he still finished T12. He played pretty well. Again, just couldn't make that run that Rory and Morikawa were able to make. So I do kind of like him a little bit this week up top. Full agreement on Morikawa. Now with Morikawa, I got him 24, 25% owned here. I don't know what the numbers will shake out. They all obviously always change just a little bit from what we think they're going to be. I'd have a hard time feeling that he's not going to be one of the higher priced guys. But I do like him. Like Big T said, he and Rory, full stroke session on Sunday, feeding off each other. I think one shot was at 64 and 66 collectively or something like that. But T7 here last year, he's going to be one of my top guys up top. Him and DJ. I have no interest in playing Patrick Cantlay until we can start to see some form, right? He has played well here in the past. I think he's got a couple T3s and a T7 going back 3, 4, 5 years ago. But he had that huge run last year, and this year he just hasn't quite put it all together. And until he does and shows some form, I'm going to be out on Cantlay. So for me, Morikawa by far my number one guy up top, and I do have some interest in Dustin Johnson.
Okay. Yeah. For me, it's a little different. A little bit with Big T on the strategy side of things. I think I'm going to do, a majority of my lineups actually without anybody up top here. The one guy I am going to play that I know, both you probably won't like too much, but it's a squeeze play. Morikawa is pretty popular this week. Doesn't matter though. Like, it's the guy up top. Just play who you want to play. But Cantlay, everyone's off Cantlay now. He's just not a good golfer anymore. He can't do anything. It's just a T39 or something at the Masters. He's squeezed between Lowry and Morikawa. So he's not necessarily my favorite play up here, but from a roster construction standpoint, and just to be different in between, I think, like you said, Uncle T, first off, he missed the cut last year, but before that, it's 3 top 9s, 2 7s, and a 9th. And then you go back just 5 events ago, which is only like a month and a half or 2 months ago. And that's when the stretch ended, but of like 2 wins, 4 top 10s. Like he was playing much better golf before recently. I'm going to get in early on this. It's not necessarily my favorite guy up here. I can see where you're going with Morikawa. He's just, from the numbers standpoint, Cantlay rates out pretty well. Stats, if you look past just the last few weeks, I said this week, and I think this is true as we go through some of these other ranges. To me, the course fit is so much more important than the recent form. If you can get both, of course, that's what we want. I'm just saying, like, a guy that came in T40th at the Masters, a very long course, playing long, especially last week, can still come in this week and put up a good result because the course is a better fit for their all-around game. It's not the super fast greens. It's not as undulating. It's not the same around the green game that you need. You just need to make sure you can get in the fairway, get it up to the green, and then find yourself some 5 to 10 footers. Like, that's the basics of it. So Cantlay's a guy I have a little interest in, but I'm actually going to fade the top in a bunch of lineups this week, not just because of the hangover, but because of also the fact that I think the 9 and 8K range have a bunch of guys that could actually go out and win this tournament. So let's do that. Let's talk about the 9K range, Big T, because Shane Lowry down to Henley, there's not too many guys to poke holes in. And the guy that will want to poke holes in, you texted me, said, if I ever play Jordan Spieth again, you kick me right in the nuts. I like that. But at the same time, the conversation out there, at least somewhat, I don't think it'll give him any ownership, but just the conversation is he can club down off the tee. He can just click it up to wherever he wants to put it. And then he's got that wizardry around the greens. And if he can just make his 10 footers, could be a spot for him to show up with low to no ownership. So what are you doing here in this 9K range?
Yeah, I mean, you definitely don't have to worry about me coming back with him this week because he let me down. I mean, it's going to be hard at some point to fade him again, but man, it's not this week. He hasn't been too great at this place. Looks like 68th and 54th or something, according to what I see. Recently, he might have done good back when he was playing good. But, man, he just sucked the last few. I played him at the match play. I played him at the Masters. He just isn't hitting the ball that great. I know the numbers the one week said he was like the top guy in the field, gained all these strokes. Again, I'm not a stat guy. Just watching him, and I played him both weeks. He just doesn't look like he's playing good to me, and I just can't play him over these guys because what you said, this range is loaded to me, and I agree with what you said. You don't have to play a guy up there because, I mean, these guys are good in here. So we're almost kind of to the Masters debate where how many of these guys can I play? Just to break it down, my favorite, I mean, Connors just keeps treating me good. I can't not play him again. 4th last year here, 6th at the Masters, awesome at the match play. He's just good. Like, he's just a ball striker. This week, the putting's not going to matter. As much as I hate Spieth is as much as I love Connors. I'm just going to play him every single week until something goes different and he stops playing good, which probably isn't going to happen because he's just a ball striker. So love him. Berger, I mean, how do you not like Berger at 96? he's a similar golfer to like Cam Smith, even though Cam Smith's been playing better this year for sure. I'm not saying that, but 96, he's 1,200 cheaper than Cam Smith. I put Berger in the same bracket as a lot of these guys up here. So have to have some of him. Fitzpatrick, we talk about it every time he's in a field, but he's one of the steadiest guys you can have. I don't know if I want to put, he could be a guy I end up cutting just because of the price. But, man, he is solid. Out of all these guys up here, he might be the safest of any of them to finish 10th. He might not be the most likely to win, but I think if I had to say one guy that's going to finish top 10 in the 9Ks, I think he'd be the safest of all these guys. That doesn't mean as much because we still want a win, but I like him. Sungjae's been solid. I mean, he looked good again last week, finishing 8th. Neiman looked good again last week. He fell apart a little bit on Sunday. He was bad, but again, that's Augusta.
Played good with Tiger and then falls apart on Sunday.
Yeah, and then falls apart on Sunday. Just totally terrible. It hurt our boy Cam trying to win that Millie again.
Yeah, I know.
And then maybe my favorite guy in the whole range maybe is Henley, who I just keep playing, and he's just good. I mean, I love these guys in this range, so I agree with Tambo. And again, the people that are watching us for the first time, because it's not always free, we take stands. So don't think we're just playing all these guys and copping out. And this is just a good range. And when we get down to the 7Ks, like usual, Tambo makes fun of me every week, but I like a lot of the 7K guys. So it just is a natural fit to play 2 or 3 of these guys up here, work your way down, and just do it. So just a quick summary, I would rank them Connors. No, I'd rank Henley ahead of him, actually, just because of the price. Give me Henley 1, Connors 2, Berger 3, I guess. But I like Neiman, too. I'm probably going to play 4 guys in this range. And then with Morikawa, that's 5 total guys above 9K.
Yeah, and that's what I think that's the best part. You just explained it well. Like that, if you're not playing anyone except Morikawa and you're not even going that heavy on Morikawa, you're just getting enough. Yeah. You have plenty of options here to roll it out. And then one thing before I kick it to you, Uncle T, on the Fitzpatrick side of things, this is where, look, I could be wrong. We're wrong all the time. But just like you said, from a safety perspective, when people say, but he's 9,500. I heard it today. You don't want just safety. Where the confusion lies, in my opinion, is that like you think because he goes into your lineup, he has to be the one to ship. Like you could have him with a guy we'll talk about later, like a Noren or a Fleetwood or a Siwoo, and those guys go off and have a big week and ship it. Fitzpatrick pulls up the rear with a T9 or T12, and that's what you've done. And then on top of it, there's nothing saying he has to be your first guy in. You can have Kawa, Fitzpatrick lineups. Kawa could win this thing by a field goal if he makes putts. And then you've got Fitzpatrick pulling up the rear at T10, T9, like we just talked about. So
no matter the price, a 10th place finish has never beat you in a week. I promise you, no matter who it is. It could be anybody. That's never ruined your week.
Especially with all the guys around him. Like if some of those guys don't come through, it can mean that much more. I've looked at all the stuff on my end, and with Fitzpatrick, it's tough to get him out of the pool. Like even if you bump his ownership up even more with his odds, with everything else, the way it shakes out. And then on top of it, just, he literally loves this course, and that doesn't always go a long way, but he's kind of got better each year. I think last year was a little bit off, but before that was a T4 or maybe vice versa. But like, he talks about it all the time. He wants to win this tournament. So I just think it's another thing where you talk about motivation and interest in the field. That's a guy that's definitely getting after it. Uncle T, kick it over to you in this 9K range. You were interested in a couple guys up top, but what do you think about this range, and who are some of the dudes that stand out for you?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this range you could literally make an argument for each guy. There's no doubt about that. Going back to Big T though, quickly on Sungjae, there's no way Big T's playing Sungjae. So I know he made a case for him, but for no other reason, he's not going to be able to make his player notes as the small noodle play. But anyway,
he's on them this week. He's on them.
No, he has. And you know what? I have played him more than Big T has, but it seems like when I do play Sungjae, he struggles to, 40th or 50th. And then when I don't play him, he T8s at the Masters like last week. But anyway, to start up at the top, Shane Lowry, I like quite a bit. He's been playing some of the best golf of his career the last 2 months. And not only has it been good golf, it's been consistent golf, right? He's also has a T9 and a T3 here in the past. So he definitely likes the course, but he's got a T3 last week, right in the hunt there, maybe to kind of, on Sunday, make that last push. Like 4, 5, 6 of them were trying to throw at Scottie on Sunday. He just didn't get there. But I really like Lowry quite a bit. Corey Connors, for the reasons that you guys have already mentioned, it's just, he's been one of the more consistent golfers. He's an elite ball striker, like we know. And the confidence is just soaring for Corey Connors. And I know this is a free show and it's not just for members, but Corey Connors, he's going to make a serious case for people's core plays this week. He is going to make it for one of mine, so I'll give out one on the show. Corey Connors is going to make a core play for me. Daniel Berger, again, I feel like Daniel Berger, I don't know what these percentages will be, Tambo. Again, they kind of alter, they move and fluctuate a little bit more between now and tomorrow morning. But I feel like Berger's going to come in a little bit lower owned than we're showing him right now. But 18-1 to win the golf tournament, and right below him, Matt Fitzpatrick, 18-1. So you got guys that are 8th and 9th on the DFS list as far as pricing, but they're 18-1 to win the golf tournament. So I don't think that, at least for me, I'm going to be able to play both of them. I'm going to side with Daniel Berger and just take a chance that Fitzpatrick doesn't win it. I mean, not that he's not a good play. I just, again, I don't want to play all these guys up here. And I do like Russell Henley at the bottom. So he's 22-1 at 9K on DFS, or in DFS, I should say. And Henley, you can make a really good argument that he could come away with the win this week for sure. He's been excellent on his approach, which is what we want this week at this course. He's made 15 straight cuts here, and he's a value pick at 9K. I think he could have easily been $9,400, $9,500 this week, and I would have had a lot of interest in him. So, and nothing on Sung Jae. Jordan Spieth, I talked about in the Open. I'm not going to play Jordan Spieth. And Joaquin Niemann, I think, with this being less than driver course, I know he had a T5 here a couple years ago. I'm not as high on Niemann this week. So for me, I like the guys up top. Corey Connors, one of my favorite plays on the board. So I like him as my number one. And then it's close for my number 2 and 3, probably Henley and then Lowry.
Yeah. And on the Connors note, I actually just got a tweet while we were on here. I put out that thread every week and I put the notes on Connors and some of the stuff on how he's done after the majors, here after the Masters last time, and had good results. And one of the guys from Caddy Network said he spoke to Corey Connors' caddy today and said he's still sharp as a tack and going out to get the job done. So you like to hear that. It doesn't mean it will happen. That's what you want to hear from guys that are connected to the source. They're guys still on top of it. Again, too, people always forget, like to Big T's point up top, there can be some spots where guys have a bit of a hangover, but there's also some guys that want to make sure as their game is keying up, as it has been for Connors, they got to find that win somewhere. So they just play through it and they find a way. This guy's not 45 or 50 years old out on the tour and not being able to make his way around. So like that, I like the Lowry call. He's got a little bit popular as the week goes on. Like I said, Cantlay, bit of a squeeze play for me there. Berger, and like some of the times too, Big T, some of these guys, the odds to bet them, I think they're just better plays, even with the ownership attached. They're going to be 15 to 20%, 80 to 85% of the field is not going to play these guys. We only play 30 to 35 guys. We're able to get overweight here. I don't want to bet Henley at like 22 or 30-1. I don't want to bet Connors at like 30 and like, there you go. Like, it's fine. It's not that I don't like 30-1. I just personally think that that's a better spot to get in on it. And then one last thing, Berger versus Fitz. I think this will be a common consideration of many people, like, oh, I'll just play Berger instead because he's got more win equity or whatever it might be. You're allowed to play them both together. And I think that's actually a great spot to do it, because maybe it is Berger that gets another win, or maybe it is Fitzpatrick that breaks through. But in both scenarios, one can be right up behind the other. They could go to a playoff. For all we know, these guys are like 22 and 30-1 to win the tournament. You're allowed to play them both together. And most people, even when we get to that 6K range later, will find a punt and move their way up to a Morikawa, a DJ, a JT. You can just play this balance build with a couple of these guys and I think you'll be just fine. Lastly, I did just talk about Henley, but he's definitely my favorite play. We talk winners later in the show, but I think, like I said, I'm not betting him at 30-1. I just, but at 9K, I'll have a lot of them. So that's a guy that I'm very interested in here on DraftKings. Let's move down, Big T. 8,800, Webb Simpson, the course horse. After Luke Donald ended this used to be the Luke Donald Open. I've talked about this all week. When he passed the torch back in 2017 and fell apart, he passed it right on over to Webb Simpson, who absolutely dominates this course. It's a shorter range. Webb Simpson down to usually an RPS favorite, Chris Kirky. But what are you doing here in this 8K range?
Yeah, just to polish what you said too, because I thought you guys both we're in unison here with these plays. But just to clarify, since it's a free show too, like we like to go way above the field, and like Tambo said, these guys are all going to be even say they're 20%, which it's going to be in that range somewhere for a lot of these Berger, Fitzpatrick, Connors. I mean, Henley. I mean, these guys will be 20. So what we like to do at Run Pure is if I go to 40% or so, I'm going to be above the field no matter what, and significantly above the field, 30 to 40% even, significantly above the field. So if I play 5 or 6 guys above 9K, I can easily do that, 30 to 40% per person. I'm way above the field. Yeah, we're fading some guys that could beat us, but a lot of these sites around the industry are going to play literally every guy up here. They're going to play 25% when the dude's 20% owned and just barely get a hair above the field. But we don't really do that as much at Run Pure. So I just wanted to clarify.
Yeah, last note to that is that's why the other point is they can't all be 20%. Like not everybody in this 9K range can be 20%. We know certain ones like Spieth, Neiman, Im will be a little lower for sure. But even when you talk about Berger, Fitz, Lowry, Connors, Henley, they're not all going to be the top of the board, 22% each. It's just everyone plays their sprinkles of all of them and they end up all getting watered down a little bit and they start making decisions like 9,600 can be 9,000. I'll just do that instead. And it all gets spaced out in the end. But go ahead with this 8K range.
Yep, the 8K range. I mean, you got to start with Webb. Webb almost falls into the bracket of like those 9K guys where he's just solid. He won here 2 years ago, 3 top 10s in the last 4 years, it looks like. All top 16s the last 5 years here. He's been finding a little bit of form, too. He was pretty good last week. I think he finished 35th. Let me see. Yeah, 35th last week, it looks like. But he was solid at Augusta. He wasn't like incredible, but solid in a big tournament like that. He's slowly been finding form. Now he finds a course he likes. So I will be on Webb. I'm not going to play Billy Ho. Hatton. People saw my notes last week. Him and Spieth might be my 2 least favorite guy. I just will never play that.
Fat dude. 5'3", fat dude, small noodle. That was
that was the note for him, and it held true because the dude literally blew up on Sunday. I don't remember what he had to shoot in the 80s, whatever it was, because he was absolutely horrendous. He was spiking his driver on the tee box. The notes were true. I'll always follow the notes path, so definitely not playing him. Varner's actually another guy, it wouldn't seem like a hangover spot, but I don't know. He was playing really good the first 2 days last week. I think it took something out of him. So I love Varner as much as anyone, but 8,500, I don't think he's as good as these guys in here. And a little bit of a hangover. He hasn't been great at this course outside of last year where he finished second. I'm just not going to play Varner. Siwoo, I'm not going to play Siwoo this week. I think Noren didn't play last week, right?
Right. He missed.
Was okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't think he played. I wanted to make sure that he didn't miss the cut or something. But yeah, I like Noren. I mean, 3 decent finishes here. I'm a Noren guy on these courses too, where it's a little bit more creative type courses. I'll have some Noren in there. Kirk, I don't think I'm going to play him this week. 65-1. Hasn't been great outside of last year here. I don't know. I know he's treated Run Pure good, but I don't think I'm going to play him. Fleetwood, I'm not going to play him, even though he's been good. Fleetwood has been good lately. Kisner's been good lately. Kisner's been terrible at this course the last couple of years, though. I don't know. This range is a little bit dead to me, but I'm going to play Webb. Just Webb, I think, actually, in this range. So you can almost put him in my 9K bucket almost.
Yeah, the Webb thing, like you said, too, that's a guy that definitely leans into what I talked about earlier, where not that he can't get there on a longer course, but that's not really Webb's deal. Like, he's not going out on an extremely long course. He's better. And think about it. He won Pete Dye, TPC Sawgrass. He wins at sort of those shorter tracks. We just have to place the ball and get around. So I can get behind that for sure. I like a few other guys here, but Uncle T, I'll let you go first. What are you doing here in this 8K range?
Yeah, I think it's still a pretty good range. It's not clearly as good as that 9K range, but starting up the top with Webb Simpson, that T35 last week, guys, and we saw it, obviously, that he shot a 76 on Sunday. So, he was, kind of contending for a top 10 spot for sure with at least a decent, maybe a 1 or 2 under Sunday. Instead, he shoots a 76. So, I'm on Webb this week. He's got the elite history. I can make an argument that if he doesn't shoot a 76 and he just shoots a 70 and he finishes T12 maybe or T15 at the Masters last week, he could be $92, $93, $9,400, especially given the course history. So I think, again, I'm making the argument at $8,800. I think he feels cheap this week. So I do like Webb quite a bit here this week. I don't know if you guys agree with that kind of, analogy on that Sunday round having maybe a little bit to do with the pricing. Maybe it didn't, but for me, I'm going to use it because I think he's too cheap. So I do like him quite a bit here. And then the top of this range, other than Webb, I agree with Big T. I can't see really playing any of these guys. I know Billy Ho, you can make an argument that he's been playing some pretty solid golf for the most part outside of that withdrawal a couple tournaments ago. Was that in the match play? I believe it was now. I'm pretty sure it was. But Hatton, on my player notes, Big T, I've got quitter, crybaby, just play better. That's what I've got under Terrell Hatton. And, I think it's interesting that some of these guys that aren't US guys that, play both tours, but Hatton is a guy that he's always been like this. He finds a course that, he doesn't play well, and he makes all this narrative, to say, well, it's the course, it's not fair, the setup, where the pins are. Well, Cam Smith doesn't have any trouble. You got Rory McIlroy that doesn't have any trouble. So I think I'm starting to, really get sour on Terrell Hatton because of that. He's obviously a really good golfer. I'm just saying we don't necessarily bring all those narratives into DFS, but at the same time,
he needs Tambo's sign. Look at the sign back there. Nobody
cares.
Work harder.
He needs to have a better attitude for sure. It's no doubt he can't let it go. He was making comments about who complains about Augusta National Golf Club after the fact. It's one of the most pure courses in the entire planet that anyone would basically bucket list for everyone to play that will follow his golf. And he's out there complaining about it like it was the cause of his demise. It's like, well, everyone else seemed to be okay.
That's not why you lost, Mr. Hatton. I promise you.
And I
go
agree.
ahead, Uncle T.
Yeah, I agree with Harold Varner. Again, it's a guy we've been on quite a bit. He is playing some very good golf, but again, we're used to paying $75, $76, $7,700 for HV3. $8,500 this week feels like it's a get off spot, and I'm going to pass on Varner. Siwoo Kim is definitely interesting. I don't know that I'll get to him, but he did play well. He was similar to Webb Simpson. He was right up in there, and I think he might have bogeyed 6 straight holes on the back 9 on Sunday to finish T39. I think he hurt some Showdown lineups, if I'm not mistaken, that I saw out there. Maybe Snyder. I'm not really sure who it was. But again, he's a guy that could pop here for sure. But I'm going to be off of him. Alex Noren, you mentioned. Alex Noren's a guy I probably play more than most. And this feels like a solid value price in this range for Alex Noren. He's got an excellent short game, and he really feels like he fits the mold to where, a guy that can win here, 55-1 right now on DK Sportsbook. I kind of like him. And the only other guy in this range I like a little bit is Kevin Kisner. He's a guy that I'm just going to continue to ride out. I know 2 months ago, he was down in the upper 6K range, and we were, maybe hesitating on planning. He's been really good the last 6-8 weeks, and he's found some form, found some confidence. I know the last couple of years have not been great here at this course, but it feels like the course does fit him. He does have a T7 and a T11 here in the past, and he's a little bit different golfer. Again, I'm going to ride a little bit more confidence in his game right now in Kisner, and I really like him quite a bit. So for me, Simpson, Noren, and Kisner would be the 3 guys in this range I like, and Siwoo Kim right on the edge of maybe being able to play him.
Okay. I like some of the guys at the bottom. I think that's one interesting thing about this too. Most people you hear talking this week are, Webb Simpson, Varner, Siwoo, Kisner. That's where most are going. It just interesting enough, that's not my favorites. So I like Noren, who you mentioned, playing some really good. I like the Euros. I like Noren and I like Fleetwood. So those 2 guys right in there, I just think are playing better golf, better than what their price is. And because I'm mostly majority fading the top there, I'm interested in just playing more of these guys throughout my lineups. Probably no more than 2 in any lineup, but that's what it looks like as of now, setting up for that. And then I'm going against everything you guys just said, only because, it looks like people are just using last week as a reason to completely fade the guy, and that's Hatton. To me, it's just a way better course for him, right? He needs a shorter course. That's why he's whining. Doesn't mean it's going to work out, but many will forget. He's like 40-1 to win, 40-45 in some places, but he's got good win odds, good top 20 odds. He's also much better setup for the course. And before last week, he was having a great form coming in, even in the Euro stuff before he came over and had some great results at some of the bigger name events. So I like him in this field at 8,600. I'll take some chances on him. Again, not my favorite play. Fleetwood, Noren, and then the other guy at the very bottom I talked about, I'm sticking with him. Been very good to us at Run Pure Sports. That's Chris Kirk. $8,000. It's looking like he's going to be under 10% owned. Everyone wants to go down to McNeely, up to Kisner, above that to the Noren plays and Siwoo, Varners, etc. I'm going to play Kirk right there at the bottom. He lines up everything stats wise pretty good here last year, and a much better course fit like I said, I don't really care as much, even on top of what he's been doing lately or last year, as does the course set up well. And I think it does. So at 8,000, got some interest in him also. Big T.
Tambo.
Go ahead, Uncle T.
Tambo, sorry to interrupt you. Yeah, I had one other player note that you mentioned. It reminded me when you mentioned Chris Kirk. I like him a little bit on FanDuel. I think he's a little bit underpriced on FanDuel. Not by a lot, but I feel like relative to the guys around him, 9,500 on FanDuel, I did have a little interest in him more over there as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, he's I think the same price as Kevin Na over there, so we don't do a lot of FanDuel conversation, but it's good to note. So I like that. Uncle T, I'll stick with you then. Let's go back. Let's go to the 7K range. It's quite large, so just I would pick like 7,900 to wherever. You can name whatever you want. It's just there's more guys than last week in here, so pick some of your favorites in this range.
Yeah, I'll give a couple up top so I can not take all of them for Big T, but I like Kevin Na quite a bit at $7,800. T14 last week. I've been playing him, and he played pretty good. Had a nice little run at the match play as well a couple weeks ago. I'm going to play him. $7,800 is very fair here. I know he missed the cut here last year, but he's got a T10 prior to that. A guy that you guys are probably going to laugh at me for, and that's okay. Matt Kuchar, I got some interest in. I don't know that the last time I've played Kuchar, but he didn't play last week, so he's rested since that T2 at the Valero a couple weeks ago. He is a past champ here, and he's made 10 straight cuts here. So, we're not paying a premium for him clearly because he's, at a different point in his career now. He's never going to be, that top guy. But at $7,800, I feel like he's a guy that I can definitely play this week. So I'm going to be on Na and Kuchar, and the other guy I'll mention up in this top range is Adam Hadwin. And I don't know about you guys, but I feel like he's probably, in my opinion, the most underpriced golfer in this entire field. $7,600 for a guy that's been in the kind of form that Adam Hadwin's been in. It just feels like it was a really bad misprice on DK. He's got a really good iron game. Again, comes in off 3 straight top 10 finishes. Missed a cut here last year, but again, you got to look at what he's been doing recently. A lot more confidence. Adam Hadwin at $7,600. The only other guy a little bit of interest above 75 would be Kevin Streelman, but I don't have a really good conviction on him one way or the other.
All right, Big T, I definitely want to ask you this. I mean, you put the sheet up. For those of you that aren't, first off, hit the like button. We're at 200 watching, just under 100 likes. Let's get to 100 likes. Appreciate the support. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you want to get our core plays, premium tiers, Big T sheet with all the notes that we're joking about and talking about, he puts way more on there. There's notes with ranges of guys versus guys in the betting market where you can kind of pick up some extra little tidbits on who you should play over a different guy based on ownership. And I'm going to bring that up with you right now, Big T. Before I do, you guys haven't signed up yet and you want to get signed up over at Run Pure Sports, we reactivated the code for RPS Heater 25. Get yourself 25% off. I recommend the monthly. Get started. We've got NBA playoffs, which we crush. MLB's kicking off, some MMA slates, USFL. It's not extra price for all these extra packages. Everything one price on top of all the golf that's still going to be rolling out. They're even going to run contests next week for the Zurich Classic. They did it last year, so we're going to have lots of content over at Run Pure Sports.
Is that the two-man one?
That's the team event. Yeah, Scottie Scheffler, Ryan Palmer. So that's the joke, right? Scottie Scheffler not only took over Rahm's number one spot, he took Rahm's winning partner from the Zurich Classic and got Ryan Palmer. Mind you, it's the other way around on who wins the event for them. But I think, at least with Rahm winning it for Palmer there. I want to ask you, though, this one for sure, Big T, because we do this every week. It doesn't matter if it's free or not. This is the best part of going through this stuff. What are your matchups saying on, like, is Adam Hadwin the best play on the slate and completely underpriced and you got to play him? Or is he the most over-owned because you have Kuchar, Na, Kokrak, McNeely, Mito, Hoagie, Streelman, you name it, that are right around him at probably half the ownership in some of those cases. So what are you doing with Adam Hadwin and what do your numbers say there?
Yeah, I've been pretty good with these chalk fades this year for the most part. A lot of them have struggled. I can't fade Hadwin, though. It's going to be boring for the free show because I'm going to agree with a lot of the stuff Uncle T said. We do agree. We do disagree at times. I promise the free people watching. But I don't know. I like the takes. 3 straight top 10s. I always play Hadwin at courses like this. I know his course history isn't like incredible, but I like him at the shorter tracks. He's 55-1 to win the tournament. I can't fade it at 7,600. I don't know if I'll go like insane with ownership because I do think he'll be high owned. He could be a guy where I just go a little bit above the field just to have it because I do think he's a really good play, but to Tambo's counterpoint, I love this range. I mean, there's a lot of pivots in here that I don't think, like Brian Harmon, my boy, everyone knows I love Harmon. Last week, I said we can't play him. The course is too big for him. This is the opposite this week, though. We're back to the small man course where he excels. And how do you not like Brian Harmon this week, who won't be near as high owned as Hadwin, and they're similar plays? I mean, he's 60-1 to win. Kevin Na's 45-1. I agree with Uncle T there too. I mean, they're just good plays. And then we didn't talk a ton, or Uncle T didn't talk about Mav and Kokrak at 79. I like both of those guys too. So I know I get boring in these 7K range every week, but again, I only played 2, 4, 7 guys above 8K. So I'm only going to play 30 guys like I always do. It's just a matter of a lot of them are going to come in this 7K range because I just think they're like, I'm not going to build this way, but I wouldn't be shocked if the optimal team came with 6 guys in the 7Ks. That's how good of these plays I think are. Like, they're very, very good plays to me. I'm not going to build that way. I'm just using it as an example of how good the guys are. So, yeah, Mav and Kokrak I like. I like. And, yeah, even Kuchar. I mean, he played good at the Valero. I think Uncle T said that's what the tournament was.
Yeah, he just missed. He was the one pretending to congratulate JJ Spawn at the end. JJ Spawn took his invite.
Well, this spot, he played good, though. And, again, This is more of a Kuchar. He's older now. He doesn't necessarily have the length. This is a course where I'm going to like Kuchar. So, all of a sudden, you're talking – I'm not going to play Mito. I haven't been playing Mito. I'm not going to start now when every guy in the range. I mean, I literally just named 5 or 6 guys in that range that I like. So Mito will be the one I don't play. Hoagie, I doubt I play Hoagie. He's been good to us, but I don't like him more than the guys we talked about. And you still got to make cuts, even though I like the 7K range. Poulter's a guy I've been playing a bunch that just, man, I keep playing him because his price always looks good. He's 70-1 again to win. This course should fit Poulter good. All that checks the boxes, right? But I'm a little uneasy. He just hasn't played good to me. Just watching him, I don't know. I don't like the form as much. I do like the course fit, though. The course fits him good. The win odds are good. The price is good. The only box he doesn't check for me is just recent form. I bet I've played him like 4 or 5 weeks in the last 8, and he just hasn't come through for me. He just hasn't been good.
I know another box he checks, Big T. He doesn't check bad clothes.
Yeah, I mean, Cam. I wish we had Cam on here to break down Poulter, yep. But I don't know. I'm iffy on Poulter though. I want to hear what you guys think about Poulter because the course does fit him crazy good. So Tambo, you tell me what you think.
Yeah, I like him quite a bit, actually. And it's not Texas, so he can get away with these clothes. Cam said none of those clothes in Texas. He said, you're good. But you just said it word for word. What I've been saying all show, Big T, is recent form. Who cares? It's a way better course fit for him. This is what sets up. These guys only have certain events. Like, look, by the way, he's in the article. He's going to the Saudi League. It says like him and Na and Bubba and Westwood and all these guys. Like they're just done with watching the young guys put those jackets on and get those WGCs and majors. Want to get their paycheck. But this is where these guys.
Do we build one team, Tambo, with all the Saudis? Can we get 6 of them in a team this week?
I don't think Saudi there's that many here. No, they're not all here. You can only get a couple of them, I think. Like Poulter, I don't know. I'm like you sometimes. I don't even know who's in the field, but I don't think Bubba and Westwood are here. Maybe Westwood is. Is he? No, he's not. So,
I never know until we work down the list.
Yeah, it's all good. I do like your Poulter take, though. Like I said, for me, it's more course fit. I think that's an interesting spot. I know his cuts made are incredible. The stats still line up when you go look at the stats for this course. If you look at like, what did he do the last few weeks? You might not see exactly the same form you're looking for, but to me, it matters more the other stuff. The other thing is, man, I just can't fit. Like, I've been bad at this all season, like on Brooks, me and you both last week. So what are we doing? Everyone loved him. I loved him. You loved him. But then after we were like, should we be doing this? This is what I'm getting that feel. It's a gut feel thing, but also.
Is Poulter popular?
Well, not with Poulter. No, Poulter's fine. He's not popular at all. I think he's a great play.
With Hadwin, you're talking about.
I'm talking with Hadwin. Like to me,
Hadwin's definitely going to be very popular.
Go look at the numbers on everything else. Like basically, Hoagie, Streelman, Harmon, Kuchar, Kokrak, McNeely. They're all the same dude on numbers. And like you always say this when we do Showdown. This is the part that scares me the most, and then we'll finish through this range.
Now you're going to scare me off Hadwin saying this stuff.
Well, no, this is the thing. Like with Hadwin, so we talk about this all the time in Showdown. Those last 3 top 10s don't come with him. Like he got those. They're on his paperwork. It shows in his results, but he doesn't get to bring those here this week. And you know what I mean? So there's that factor. And then just like Hoagie literally won a tournament this year and should be lower owned. And the odds are almost the same. The top 20 odds are like identical. I didn't look at matchups, but to me, it just looks like a spot where I'm not saying just Hoagie over him. I'm saying that there's more than enough guys in the range. And then lastly, we usually say this about 6K guys, Big T, but we've got this right. Aaron Wise, we got it right on earlier this year when he was cheap. It's kind of migrated to, look, nobody's playing the 6K guys as much anymore. So the highest you see a guy is 6 to 8%. You can get away with it no matter what, because you're not going all in or anything. You got 12, 15%. You're not dead. But for Hadwin, he's like the guy. It just happens to be in the 7K range. That's the only thing that worries me. The guy's obviously playing some great golf. He's been in the mix lately, got good results. I'm just saying that's something to keep an eye out on. So guys, for me real quick, McNeely, I like Kuchar, Nah, Harmon, Hoagie, Streelman. And again, I'm not playing many guys in the upper 5-figure, and there's a bunch more to go in the lower 7K range. I'll click it right back to you, Big T. Luke List all the way down to the bottom with CT Pan, 7,000.
Yeah, I don't like the lower 7Ks as much as I usually do. Part of it is how much I like the group I just checked on my notes page. I got 8 guys in that high 7K range with them only fading a few. So that's going to be a majority of my 7Ks. But just to talk about the lower, we got our boy Troy Merritt, another run pure hero that, the dude has come through for us. Again, most sites won't put weight on this stuff, but we're more field players, at least mostly at Run Pure. We got people that do stats too, like Snyder's pretty big into the stats. That's why I think we give people a good balance, because I know I'm a field player, and a guy like Merritt that just keeps coming through for me, I just don't care about anything else. Like, the dude is playing good golf. He's 65 to 1. I'm sure he's going to get ownership too, but like Tambo always says, what's he going to get to? Like, he can't get above 15% or something at the absolute highest. Like, at the absolute, there's no way he gets higher than that. So, I'm just going to keep playing guys like that. Luke List, I haven't been on List as much. I doubt I play him this week. I don't know about the course fit that much. Fratelli, not going to play him. Knox kind of looks like he doesn't look too strong at this track either. JJ Spawn is another recent guy. Like, he's just playing good. He got to go play Augusta. We talked about the hangover with some of the guys. With guys like JJ Spawn, I look at it the opposite. Like, he just got to go play Augusta, played all the big boys. Now he gets to come back to a normal tournament, 7,300, easy track, put it up against the green. You're not going to 3-putt as much. You can get up and down, all that kind of stuff. I think JJ Spawn keeps playing good. I'm going to play guys like that keep playing good. So he'll be in my player pool. Another guy that I like at tracks like this for sure is going to be Denny McCarthy.
I knew you were going to say that.
I just like him at the shorter tracks. Some of the guys, I'm on my freaking laptop in the mountains, but there's guys that I'll only play. Like, I'll never play Denny McCarthy at the bigger tracks. I'll almost always play him at the smaller tracks. I'm not saying it's all putting, because I really don't think putting is going to be that important this week. But still, if he hits it on the green and makes a bunch of putts like he can do, he finished 13th last year. He's been playing good golf lately. Definitely going to be in my player pool. Sepp Straka, another dude that has just been playing good. He's just been playing good golf. 7,200. I like that price. Interesting one. Stuart Sink, he won last year. I just don't like how he's been looking to me. I don't know. Like, he won. He might get a little ownership at 72. I don't think I'm going to play Stewie, though, off the win. Yeah, I just don't like what I've seen. Glover, another guy that I'm going to play down here. I like how Glover's looked. And I think Scott Stallings for sure I'm going to play down here. CT Pan is another sneaky one that we like a lot of times down here. He won here 3 years ago. I like him on shorter tracks. He's going to be in the player pool. Scott Stallings. Yeah, I always play Scott Stallings a little bit. The guy has just been good. One guy I always make fun of. I know it sounds like I'm bringing up a lot of guys. Again, though, when you sign up for Run Pure, you'll see. I'll have it narrowed down to 30 people. I'll play less guys than almost anyone in the industry, I promise you.
You're still not even close to 30, to be honest.
Well, that's what I mean. It just feels like it, though. I hate copping out. I don't want people to think like I'm just naming everybody.
And you had Webb in the UK. That was two guys in two full ranges.
I just feel bad though when I list this many guys, but this is the range where I like a lot of these guys. And I mean, Davis Riley, I think is playing good. You can play him in here. But man, the one guy I was going to say, because I never like him, Tringali at these shorter courses, and he's 7K, and he's 80-1 to win the tournament. I think for the first time in life, I've never played him. I'm going to play Cameron Tringali this week. Right. First time in life.
Morikawa Tringali lineups for Big T.
I should build this one. I'm going to put both of them both.
I don't know if
team.
Fallick's still in the chat, but you're doing like the Fallick with NBA and baseball. You're converting over from playing good plays to now playing.
Oh no, I can't play him that if I.
No, I'm just kidding. Uncle T, let's roll through. By the way, what time is the NBA show at? I was trying to figure that out as we go along here.
Yeah, we'll just finish this up in like 10 minutes and then we'll go.
That's what I'm thinking. Okay, Uncle T, let's roll through. Give us the guys at the bottom of the 7K range. Just pick 3 or 4.
Yeah, Big T mentioned a lot of guys that I do like. Again, him and I are, sometimes disagree. We're in lockstep quite a bit tonight on this show. So starting at the bottom, I was a little worried you were going to mention, instead of Cameron Tringali, I was a little worried you were going to mention Ricky Flower. I'm glad you did not mention him.
I was not going to mention him.
Yeah, I was a little worried there for a minute. But no, up at the top, one of the guys I told you again over on FanDuel, 8,300 is Troy Merritt. I think he's completely mispriced over there. We like him on DraftKings, 7,400. You have to like him. I would think he'd be like Hoops cash game guy over there. I'm not sure, but love Troy Merritt. One guy you didn't mention was Russell Knox. I don't think you mentioned Russell Knox. I kind of like him. Good ball striker, been in really good form in 2022. Have a little bit of interest in him. Lucas Glover at 7,200. I feel like that's a pretty safe price tag for the glove. Going down a little bit. Doesn't have the best course history. Actually has horrible course history. Probably not going to get there, but I've played a little bit recently and he's been good as Anirban Lahiri. But again, I can't get away from that horrible course history, so I'll probably fade him. Love Tringali, love Stallings, and again, I do like some CT Pan, not as much, but Tringali and Stallings only 8,200 on FanDuel too. So I know I usually don't get many FanDuel takes at all, but just looking at the different pricing this week, I did see 2 or 3 nice FanDuel plays this week as far as pricing. So probably the top guy for me would be Troy Merritt by far, and then probably Scott Stallings, and then Tringali. I'm on board with Big T on Tringali.
Yeah, I'll run through quick, and then we'll just do a couple 6K plays because we got to get out of here for the NBA show. But JJ Spawn, Russell Knox, Denny McCarthy, Charles Howell, Patton Kizzire, who we didn't mention, but it's a good spot to go back to. We liked him a couple weeks ago at 8,300 or whatever he was, didn't come through. Sea Island guy, much better setup for him, in my opinion. A lot of the correlation courses, everything there. So I do like Patton Kizzire. And then the other guy was CT Pan for me down at the bottom. 2019 winner. I'm not expecting that, but at 7,000, just a guy to get a little bit different down in this range. Big T, 6K range. Roll out just 2 or 3 guys that you like, and then we'll flip it over to you, Uncle T, and get out of here.
Yeah, I mean, the 6K, I like so many 7K guys that I won't like as many, but just to go down the list super quick here. Doug Gim, I tend to like at courses like this. I'll probably have a little bit of Doug Gim. Brendan Todd is another guy. I know I just have these mold of shorter track, like just a course fit. I think Brendan Todd is a nice course fit at this place. Even though he doesn't have great course history, I do think this course benefits him. So I'll definitely be on him, working my way down. JT Poston actually has 2 top 10s here. That's interesting at 6,600. He's always been a guy that I like to play a little bit of as we go down. There was someone down here that I really liked as I'm looking down. Oh, my boy, you guys are definitely going to make fun of me for this because I had him highlighted like before the show even as a guy that I knew you guys were going to laugh at me, and that's okay. But old Grampy, Jimmy Furyk at 6,300. I got to play a little Jimmy Furyk, I think, this week. Coming off the senior tour. I don't know. I like the course fit. Put it up there and make a few putts. So I'll let you guys make fun of me in a minute for that. Keep going down a little bit. Malnati is another guy I've played a decent amount at 6,200. I think you can put. I won't be going to these guys as much as usual because of what Tambo said. Like, we're not playing the expensive guys this week. But again, to talk about the ownership, like a lot of these guys are going to be 3% owned or less. So if I play 10% Peter Malnati, I'm way above the field. If I play 10% Wesley Bryan, who's got great course history, and I don't know, I only have to play probably 5% of some of these guys to be above the field. So I don't love this range, but those are a few of the guys that I could take some stabs on.
Yeah, a lot of very low owned guys. And like you said, too, I'd rather like go up to the 7K. I'd rather come down from like a DJ or Morikawa to like a Burger and just leave the money on the table than drop down my 7 to 6K. I don't love it either. Uncle T, couple quick guys, and then we'll get out of here.
Yeah, I like the Doug Gim call. I was going to mention him, so I'm glad Big T was on board with him. Joel Damon, 6,800, got a little interest there. Brian Stewart is a guy that I think we played a little bit, the last couple months, and he's been in fairly good form. Brian Stewart at 6,700. Love the JT Poston call. If we're talking about not necessarily going by recent form, but more course history. Again, a couple top 10s, don't mind him. One other guy down below, and the last guy I'll mention, if you need to go all the way down there, 6,200, Bryce Garnett. Sometimes I'll play him in Showdown. Was that one you were going to get?
Yeah. Love
Oh,
that.
were you? Okay, good. I was hoping you'd make fun of me for that. But Bryce Garnett, guy I play on Showdown a little bit, but it feels like he's a little bit too cheap down there at 6,200 if you need him.
Yeah, I like that. So we're in unison on Brendan Todd, me and Big T, and then Doug Gim, all three of us. I like those two. I like Brian Stewart with you, Uncle T. And then a couple guys at the bottom, a little dustier, but not quite Jim Furyk dusty in my opinion, but Adam Long and Pat Perez. I think those are two guys that are cheap enough. They need this shorter track. Adam Long has even showed up on he stole the win from Adam Hadwin a few years back. So similar type track. If you love Adam Hadwin this week, maybe Adam Long suits it as well. But let's pick our winners and get out of here. Uncle T, click it right back to you. A winner and a long shot.
Yeah, I'm going to go quick. We got to get out of here. A guy that I think has been on the cusp. He's been there quite a bit. The last several months, been in good form. I think it might be this week. Corey Connors is my pick to win up top. You can get him at 25-1 right now on DK Sportsbook. My guy down below, I'm going to go all the way down to Scott Stallings. I got him 180-1 as far as a long shot all the way down the board there.
All right, Big T, same thing.
So I'm in Tennessee right now. I bet 3 guys before the show, and my feelings haven't changed that much. So I'm just going to give the same 3 guys. Fitzy at 18-1, I think I got, or 20-1 on DraftKings. It might have been. Fitzy's going to be my guy towards the top. DFS wise, I don't know, but I do like that price on him at like 20-1. So I'm definitely going to be on him. Webb Simpson, I got 35-1, I believe. I like that. And then my boy Harmon, I had to bet Harmon at, what did I get him at? I got him at 65-1, I think, Brian Harmon. So Fitzy 20-1, Webb 35-1, Harmon 65-1 would be my 3 that I bet.
All right, boys. It was fun doing this. My winner is going to be Henley. Like I said, I don't love it at like 25 or 30 because it just seems ridiculous, but that's why I think it's a good play. And maybe it is a good bet because the guy can go out and win this thing. I like him much better just playing him at 9,000. Lots of different roster constructions you can do with him. And then my other guy, my long shot is going to be Joel Damon. Got him at 180-1.
I like that call.
Today. What's that?
Yeah, I like that. I might bet that too. I might add that onto my portfolio.
Yeah, it's worth a shot. I mean, the guy has come through in Corrales.
He can win.
He can win the tournament, I think. That's what I mean. He's kind of the same stat popper that JJ Spawn was just a couple weeks ago. So if you guys want more, like we talked about, head on over to Run Pure Sports. Use the reactivated promo code. We just put it back up today, RPS Heater 25. You can get the tiers, the cores, everything, all sport, one price. And then on top of it, you can get in the Discord to continue this conversation. But we got to move on. We got some NBA winners to pick for Big T, for Uncle T, and for myself, Toe Tag and Tambo. Simon, get us out of here.